Hi everyone, this video is a book review about a book that I recently purchased a couple of weeks ago at Five Below, and the title of this book is called Adaptogens, a directory of over 40 healing herbs for energy, stress relief, beauty, and overall well-being. And it was written by Melissa Petito, RD, which stands for Registered Dietitian. Now, as I stated, I bought this book at Five Below. If you don't know what Five Below is, or if you don't have one in your town, it's essentially, think of Family Dollar or the dollar store where everything is about $1 or now $1.25. So Five Below is a store where everything is $5 and under, unless you go to their back section called Five Beyond, which is $5 and up. So Five Below always has a nice little selection of books if you really know where to look. And somebody I knew had this book. She was reading it and I said, "Hey, where did you get that book?" And we went and got myself a copy. So I really like this book. I've heard of adaptogens. I only knew of a few adaptogens from the top of my head, like Eleuthero, also known as Siberian ginseng. I think rhodiola was one, ashwagandha was one. But I wanted to share with you all of the different things I've learned from this book and go over some of my favorite adaptogens, ones I already knew about and others I had never heard of before. But before I do all of that, let me tell you a little bit about the author, Melissa Petito, if I'm pronouncing her name right. So she published this book in 2023, so happy new birth adaptogens. She is a very, I really like her neck. She has a very long neck. Kind of model-esque. She mentioned in a YouTube video that she had studied ballet or practiced ballet for about 6 years. But if you go to her website, she has her bio. She has different recipes and posts. She also has 2 other books as well. So, Chef Melissa Petito, Registered Dietitian, chef for your individual tastes and dietary needs. So she has a Jewish mother and an Italian father, and so she got this was an eclectic collection of food in the unlikely city of Birmingham, Alabama. That is kind of an unlikely mixture, with 2 seemingly diverse cultures that center around the kitchen. Petito gained an early appreciation for food and its impact on a person's life. Then, while still in high school, Petito apprenticed with world-renowned chef Frank Stitt at Highlands Bar and Grill, and she was smitten with a new and familiar passion for cooking and for food. I wonder, did they already have connections like that? Like, was he in her town? I wonder how that happened. Maybe her family has ties. Attending Johnson & Wales University from 2000 to 2004, Melissa Petito was afforded the opportunities of working for the Governor's House Inn as the bed and breakfast chef and at Cooking Light magazine in the test kitchen. Graduating from Johnson & Wales University with a Bachelor of Science degree in culinary nutrition in 2004, Petito received the top honor of Apprentice Cuisinier. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm sorry, something fell. I don't know what it was. But anyway. Where is it? Okay. In order to enhance her skills and opportunities, she furthered her education at Emory University Hospitals with a dietetic internship. Upon passing her registered dietitian's exam, Petito made the move to New York City to pursue her career goal of becoming a personal chef. So she does culinary for different celebrities. She's counted as like an A-list chef. She also writes in her bio that upon meeting with a potential client, she custom designs menus to fit their lifestyle, health needs, and desires. She shops for the freshest ingredients at local groceries, ensuring the quality of her final products. In recent months, she has traveled to South Carolina to work at the Hilton Head Health Institute, a premier weight loss spa where she lectures, presents food demonstrations, and consults with individual clients in attendance. I think that's really interesting. It inspires me to pay off my remaining classes at my school and get back into my culinary, which is what I was studying, but I still have to pay it. I've already done like 2 or 3 classes. So I think if I just pay it down, I'll be able to go back to school next year, Lord willing. But yeah, she's a very interesting person. So let us get into this book. In this book, she utilizes a lot of herbs from Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine. So if you're one that likes to study that, you'll notice a lot of herbs in here from there as well. She says, "Welcome to the ancient world of herbal healing. It's ancient because the practice of using plants for health, healing, and wellness has been in place for millennia. And by herbal, I'm not talking about what you might be growing in your garden. I mean everything from herbs, beans, and mushrooms to roots and fruit, barks and flowers, leaves, and stems. In the pages that follow, we'll explore 34 intelligent plants known as adaptogens and their wealth of health benefits, including the 2,000-year-old mushroom called the elixir of immortality and the fruit Genghis Khan used to power his army." So she goes into a description on what adaptogens are, and she says, "The word itself was coined in 1947 by a Soviet doctor and scientist, Nikolai V. Lazarev. I hope I pronounced that right. During World War II, Russian scientists were instructed to find or create substances that could enhance the performance and stamina of the country's athletes and military." I thought it would have just been military, but now that she's writing like athletes, I can kind of see why, especially if you had the Olympics and you want to save face and show that your nation is the strongest nation. And people study a lot of athletes, like will they run faster? Will they be stronger? So I think that's pretty interesting. 20 years later, in 1968, Dr. Israel I. Breckman and Dr. I.V. Dardimov revised the definition of an adaptogen and created the standards that we use today. So they define a class of mushrooms and herbs that must have 3 properties. So these are the 3 properties of adaptogens. 1, be non-toxic to the body's physiological functions. 2, offer widespread support, including physical, chemical, and biological. And 3, help bring the body back into equilibrium. She also talks about how adaptogens will help with stress and how stress can truly damage your health. She talks about the intelligence of adaptogenic plants, some of them which include, and she has a list right here, enhancing immunity, guarding against disease, increasing energy, easing symptoms of depression and anxiety, balancing moods, supporting cognitive abilities, which is for the mind, minimizing fatigue, improving focus, bringing balance back to metabolic processes, boosting libido or sex drive, reduce cravings for sugar, carbohydrates, and processed foods, sensing harmony, elevating consciousness, and promoting overall well-being. There's also a part in here where she mentions how stress can destroy the body. So, when we encounter a major stressor, our adrenals release cortisol and adrenaline, preparing us to take on whatever we need to fight. Our heart rate and blood sugar rise, getting us ready for fight or flight. After the stressor passes, we return to normal. The problem lies in the fact that we often live in a state of chronic stress, which means we have an incredibly high level of cortisols pumping through us all the time. They lead to thyroid problems, depression, anxiety, weight gain, mood swings, and sleep problems. Another thing that I really like about her book is she gives a time limit on how long you can take these adaptogenic herbs, how long it'll take to see the benefits as well. For the length that it takes to see the benefits, it would most likely be 6 to 8 weeks. You won't see the results immediately, which of course I understand why you won't see results immediately, because your body is adapting. It's adapting to the situation. It's like atomic habits, where you do a little bit at a time, but it goes a long way. You add a little bit and it goes a long way until your body can regulate itself. So how to navigate this book? She has an adaptogen directory. I'm loving this book so far. By the time I reached this page, I was already loving this book because the layout was simple. She got straight to the point. I wasn't confused. She had all of these different symbols. I love it. And this was great for $5. So this is her adaptogen dictionary. When you see this symbol right here, that means stress reduction. When you see this one, it's, I don't know if you can see it, skin. The green one is digestion. Mental clarity is the light bulb. Immunity boosts, and energy levels is the battery. The stress reduction is supposed to lower cortisol and bring about a happier you. The skin is to fight free radicals and have, glowing skin. Digestion is for gut health and maintaining a healthy gut. The mental clarity is for concentration, memory, mental fatigue, and focus. Immunity boost helps with the endocrine system, and the energy levels helps with vitality, fortitude, and stamina. In this book, she has some very beautiful pictures. I love the photography. I'll have to look in here to see if there's any mention of the photographer, but we'll get there in the end. So the first part of the book, she explains what the herbs are, and you can see on the side if it's something that this herb does. One of the adaptogen highlights is shaded. So as we can see, this one will help with gut health, skin health, and also for energy. She also goes into a description how it helps, like additional ways, and the dosages that you take. At the end of every page, she lists safety, which is really great because some people believe they can take an herb and just keep taking it and nothing will happen. Well, eventually something's going to happen. Some herbs you can only take for 3 days. Some herbs you can take maybe 7 months, and some you can take your entire life and you'll be just fine. It also depends on your condition. If you're an elderly person, if you're a child, if you're a pregnant woman, if you're trying to conceive, it just all depends on what your unique body type is and what you're going through physically, which herb would be the best for you. That's why when people are like, which is the best herb? There's no such thing as the best herb. It is the best herb for you because your body is different. That's almost like asking which of your children is your favorite child. You can't, it's your child. If there was a best herb, we would only have one herb in the entire world. We wouldn't need any other herbs. We would just have the best. If there was the best color, we wouldn't have a rainbow for real. So I'm just saying. So the first herb is baobab. Which is my favorite, or one of my favorites. I can't actually decide. I have some baobab powder in my kitchen. So baobab, Adansonia, I guess that's the Latin name or the botanical name. So this is basically from the baobab tree, which is also known as the tree of life. It can live basically over 5,000 years. She says that it was mentioned in The Lion King and The Little Prince, and just basic media. The fruit of the baobab is less well known. It is one of the most nutrient-dense foods in the world, which is true. It's very high in vitamin C. They call it the tree of life because you can eat of its fruit. You can even build a house inside of the tree, or a house in the tree. It's so big. And you can also take the bark and get water from the bark. Like you can drink of the bark. So it's a very useful tree. I've only seen it in two forms: baobab oil and baobab powder. But I've never seen the fruit like this. This is my first time seeing the food. It looks pretty delicious. Traditionally, the leaves, barks, and seeds are applied to treat malaria, microbial infections, fever, tuberculosis, dysentery, anemia, and diarrhea. It helps with prebiotic gut health, controls blood sugar, alkalizer, and electrolyte. You can take 1 to 2 teaspoons of the dried fruit up to 2 times a day. It also has no known adverse effects. It helps with collagen stimulation. It also has calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, zinc, dietary fiber, potassium, lysine, protein, and lipids. So lysine, or lysine, if you're a person or you know someone that suffers from like herpes or outbreaks, I think baobab would be a good thing for them because lysine helps with outbreaks from that. But I didn't know that baobab had that, which is pretty cool. This one I had never heard of. It's called God's mushroom. It looks kind of delicious. Hold on. I'm not about to butcher this name now. Hime Matsutake. Hime Matsutake? I don't know. This mushroom's first appearance occurs in medical treatises from the Byzantine Empire. It is also shows up in the Amazon rainforest, valued by the people of this region for bringing longevity and health. Considered more than just a food there, its name reveals its importance, the mushroom of God. The mushroom of God. It says, in the 1960s, Takatoshi Furumoto became seriously interested in this mushroom. Since then, researchers have delved into its many health benefits. In the Piedade region, where the mushroom is grown, the inhabitants' unusually low rate of geriatric illness has caught the attention of researchers, leading the mushroom's popularity to skyrocket. So I guess it'll fight against the effects of aging. Like, I wonder if it helps with cognitive function too. Let us see. It's still being researched. It's used to improve the body's insulin intake and decrease insulin resistance in people with type 2 diabetes. Those seeking to lower cholesterol, improve digestive problems, and reduce the side effects of chemotherapy should consider God's mushroom. It can also be effective in preventing heart disease, osteoporosis, and stomach ulcers. That's pretty interesting. Another thing that you can use for chemo, from what I've come across, is chlorella. That's one. And graviola, also known as soursop. So you can add this to your list. I don't know if they have it in a powder form or capsules. If they don't have it in individual capsules, you might be able to find it if you have like mushroom blends. I've come across different mushroom blends where it has like 10 to 8 mushrooms in a blend. So you may find it in that blend if you're trying to look for it. But if you have low blood sugar, you don't want this because it's shown to lower blood sugar. You also can take 500, or she states, for diabetes control, extract 500 milligrams up to 3 times a day. God's mushroom. Okay, let us see. There was another one in here that I had seen the name, but I had never read about it before. And it's called ashitaba. That's what it looks like. See the green leaves? It's native to Japan. The parts of the plant that you can use are the root, leaf, and stem. It's celebrated as a beauty food that offers anti-aging benefits. I wonder if this can be placed into a gel or serum or a cream. That'd be interesting. It's used in regional cuisine such as soba, tempura, ice cream, and sochu. It has also been recognized as a major contributor to the healthier, extended lives enjoyed by the people of this part of Japan. Wait, ashitaba. Is that what it's called? Like, or is this from the Village of Long Life? Because I know there's a place, I don't know if it's in Japan or China, where a lot of the villagers or the people that live there, they'll be 80 years old, 90 years old, 100 years old, just living their life, gardening, walking, climbing, exercising, riding bicycles. So I'm wondering if this is from that village or that area. It's also used to increase milk supply in nursing mothers, which is pretty cool. It helps with concentration and focus, longevity, B6 and B12 for vegans. So if you're a vegan, you should probably take this. I have met some vegans that I tell them, I'm like, hey, you need like some B12 or B6, because sometimes they'll be talking to me about problems like hair loss or headaches, or brain fog, and I really think it's because they're not supplementing themselves with B vitamins. So if you are one, see if you can incorporate this into your diet if it's possible. But this makes sense why it would be in a place where the people live a very long time, because most people, if they haven't taken care of themselves, their mind begins to decline. They might get Alzheimer's, they might get dementia, all these different things. It says it helps with wound healing, infection resistance, and healthy digestion. It's also been shown to encourage nerve growth hormones, which could explain its reputation for increasing longevity. So would that be like the neurons and the neural connections in the brain? Like, would that count? I wonder if you can use this for breast enlargement too. Maybe it's a galactagogue. That would be interesting. Next. Let's go to one. Cordyceps. Another mushroom, of course. When I first saw cordyceps, I thought it was curly fries. It was my fat soul. I was like, curly fries. But I learned something about cordyceps that I never knew, and I'm going to read it to you now. So it says, this fungus has quite an interesting origin. The cordyceps mushroom is a type of fungus that lives within caterpillars. I didn't know that. I literally thought it was a mushroom. I didn't know it was from a freaking caterpillar. I did not know that. The fungus consumes the larva of the ghost moth. Then it surrounds the caterpillar and produces a mushroom to release its spores. For practical storage, the mushroom and caterpillar are dried. These mushrooms have always been coveted because they are so rare. In the 1700s, traditional Chinese medicine only served their medicinal magic to nobility and emperors. That's what I keep telling people. Some foods people just didn't have access to. They'll be like, oh, I want to eat this. I want to. Your ancestors didn't eat that, usually. You only got exposure to certain foods if you were royalty, if you had money, if you were a merchant or lived on a trade route, or if you were possibly a missionary or a monk living in a monastery, because they would grow plants there too. And royalty, at least from, I don't know if it's like other royalty, I know with like European royalty, a lot of them would have their royal gardens and they'd have plants from all over the world, or the king and queen, not in just Europe, but all over the world, would probably send their merchants out, be like, go explore, bring me back a plant, show so I can cultivate it here. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. But these days we have found a way to produce and cultivate them using soy instead of caterpillars, bringing their medicinal properties to the masses. They were traditionally used to support the health of the kidneys and defend against infertility, sexual dysfunction, frequent urination, night sweats, ringing in the ears, and fatigue. So I guess if like you're a vegan or so, I'm not a vegan, I'm just talking to like vegans because I know a lot of them. And some are like, is this vegan? Is this vegan? Is this vegan? So if you hear me talking to vegans a lot, that's because I get asked a lot of questions by vegans. So if you're a vegan, check the back of your cordyceps. Some vegans I've met are against soy, so maybe you shouldn't take cordyceps, because it's sounding like a lot of the new cordyceps is made out of soy. Me personally, I want the one with the caterpillar. Like I'm really not into eating bugs, but I mean, it sounds pretty interesting. I want one from the 1700s. Turn into a superhero. Today, we use cordyceps for all its incredible medicinal benefits. It's helped with mental and physical endurance. It helps with ATP, which is vital for carrying oxygen to the body, and it also helps with overall sexual vigor. Okay. Safety, and I'm glad she mentioned this. Consuming too many of these mushrooms can be a bad thing. Anxiety, weakened immune system, and water retention have all been experienced when too much of this mushroom is ingested. There are also some studies that show they interact with immunosuppressive medications. Always consult your physician before adding it to your routine. So you can take 20 to 40 drops up to 3 times a day, and 1 to 2 cups of tea made from 1/4 to half a teaspoon of dried cordyceps. You know, I do meet a lot of people that just found out about mushrooms and they're just dousing themselves in mushrooms. Like they'll be putting it in their coffee, they'll be putting it in their tea, they'll be taking it just all day long. And I want to see the long-term effects. Like, I'm going to start watching them. The people that I see taking a lot of mushrooms. Can you become dependent on mushrooms? And I'm just asking this in general. I actually don't know the answer. But can you be like too dependent on an herb? Like after a while, it's like your body's like, enough. I've had enough. We got to take a break. And then we can get back to the herb. Maybe too much of a good thing weakens the body over time. So I understand why she says it weakens the immune system. Because once you get your immune system working, it's like, okay, I'm working now. Like I don't need your help anymore. It's like you're wearing a cast and now your bone is healed. You can take off the cast now, but you're still keeping it on. But your bone is fully healed. Like, I guess that's the only visual I can give you for how to treat herbs. Like when it gets you to that place, let your body handle itself and adjust itself, and then you can start again after you've taken a break. Amla, Indian gooseberry. So many people have come, like, I think Amla got super popular. I don't know who made it popular, but I really believe it was that YouTuber Curly Proverbs. if that's still her YouTube name. She's, I want to say, based in the UK, and she has a lot of videos on Ayurvedic hair care. She has very beautiful hair. It's thick. It's just like really gorgeous and healthy. But I do remember a lot of people, like when they were making videos about AMLA and all of that, they would either mention her, or even people I knew in real life would mention her, and that's how they first found out about AMLA. But AMLA isn't just for hair. It's also high in vitamin C. It's used for one of the ingredients in triphala, if that's how you pronounce it, in triphala, which helps you with digestion and overall health. It's three fruits, Ayurvedic. And they say that if you use the oil or the rinse, it can darken your hair over time. Obviously, I haven't tried it because I have my little gray hair. But the rest of my hair is black. I just got my grays from when I was 17. This intelligent plant has deep Ayurvedic roots. It's commonly known as Indian gooseberry or amalaki. It is native to southern China, India, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar, and Malaysia. In Ayurveda, amla is one of those plants that is known as a rasayana. It is believed to prolong life, good memory, and youthfulness. It serves as the common base for Ayurvedic blend called, girl, don't make me pronounce this, Chawag. It's either K or Ch, Ya, Wanprash, which is a highly potent blend of herbs, spices, and adaptogens. I think I read about this in Planetary Herbology. I think they gave the recipe for it. More than merely an adaptogen, amla is rich in vitamin C and antioxidants. Its benefits include, but are not limited to, increasing resistance to disease, nourishing the blood, restoring the appetite, supporting liver health, and supporting the health of the bones, teeth, and hair. Hey, I need this. I think I got some amla in my kitchen, but let's start taking it. It also helps balance the intestinal mucus and helps with gut and skin health. It's a light laxative, which is why it's included in triphala. So for safety, it may interfere with iron absorption. I'm going to remember that. If I see a person taking like doses and dosages of, oh my God, get out! Get! Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. There was a mouse at my window on the second floor. Like, what in the plan? You were trying to get in my house. Yeah, I bet you go downstairs. Go downstairs. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Calm down. Calm down. I cannot. The audacity. Look, you better not come in here. Okay. I'm calming down. We're getting back to our book. Amla might interfere with iron absorption because of the tannins it contains. Staggering ingestion of this herb between dosages of other medications can help increase their effectiveness, especially alkaloid ones. I'm calming down. Okay, enough about mushrooms, but look, this is lion's mane. Isn't it pretty? Let us... Okay. We talked about maca before. We've talked about goji before. Okay, here's one I had not heard of. Raponticum. It's from Siberia and Eastern Europe. Hold on. Can you see? Okay. This perennial herb, known as marrow root, has been used for centuries in Siberia and Eastern Europe. It was commonly combined with another adaptogen, rhodiola. We talked about rhodiola earlier. It aids in the body's healthy response to stress while also supporting sexual libido. In traditional Chinese medicine, this herb has been used to aid in the painful symptoms of mastis? M-A-S-T-I-T-I-S. No, M-A-S-T-I-T-I-S. Mastitis, sores, clogged milk ducts, and swollen lymph nodes. It is known to expel heat and reduce toxic swelling. It also helps with the brain, they say, and delivers oxygen to the muscles before and after exercise. So if you see this in a workout equipment or a workout powder, then let me know. This adaptogen has been shown to ease symptoms during menopause for women. You don't use it while you're pregnant and only use it when breastfeeding, when working with a licensed herbalist. This looks kind of tasty. You see? I don't know what it reminds me of, but I want to chew it. I want to chew like over here. It doesn't say how it's made, but elderberry. Now, I'm not going to go into like elderberry because you probably already know about elderberry, but I didn't know that the actual fruit was poisonous. I didn't know that. I just assumed you could eat the fruit because I've always seen it in capsules, in syrup, in sprays, in tablets, in tincture. I didn't know that you couldn't eat elderberries. Like, that was news to me. It says the elderberry and elderflower have a long-standing relationship in both fiction and nonfiction, and it goes on talking about that. I know elderflowers, they say in the Middle Ages, were used to fade freckles. It was used to like clear the skin. So if you have discoloration on the skin, you could make a rinse with some elderflowers, put it on your face and see if it fades your scars. Along with other berries, the elderberry is rich in antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B6, iron, potassium, and fiber. Before you pick some elderberries, you should know that they're poisonous if eaten raw, so only ingest cooked products of these berries. Only ingest cooked products of these berries. And it talks about how in syrup form, it's used for like fighting colds. I never took elderberry syrup ever, but I always am meeting people that like that's their staple item. Like they love elderberry. If you don't like the syrup, you could also add elderberry to sea moss. Like you just get some elderberry powder when you're making your sea moss gel and you can add it to there and just refrigerate it. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that I didn't know personally was it helps support collagen, prevent wrinkles, fight inflammation, and even overall tone and softness. Now that I know that, I'm taking the syrup. I know, vanity, but whatever. I just didn't want to drink elderberry tea because it reminds me of valerian. Like it smells so cow poopish to me. Even though people have gotten valerian for sleep and they say it's a delicious tea, I just can't get over just the cow poop. And elderberry, it kind of reminds me of just like a lighter version of the cow poop smell of valerian. But now that I know about the collagen and stuff, maybe I'll start taking it just because. I don't really need it for immunity because my other herbs are keeping me immune. I haven't been sick except when I took the ibuprofen, but I haven't gotten a cold. Every once in a while I'll get sick, but that's usually if I'm super stressed and I haven't slept or I have stopped eating. Like that's when I get sick. Remember this. If you have some children and they don't want to take their elderberry syrup, if it's like a teenage girl that's worried about her looks and she don't want to take her elderberry, be like, girl, it's going to make your skin look great, and see if she takes it. Oh, this one, last one, before this will be our last herb I'm talking about. Shilajit, or Shilajit, however you pronounce it. Shilajit has become so popular now. I was actually shocked that people were talking to me about Shilajit because I swear to God, 5-6 years ago, nobody had heard of it. I would mention it to people and they're like, what is that? I've never heard of that. I first heard of it, I want to say it was either between 5 and 7 years ago. I was in a Facebook group that was talking about ormus, which is monatomic gold. And a couple of the members in that group mentioned Shilajit, or Shilajit. They mentioned Shilajit, but for meditation, like meditation, concentration, unlocking powers and different things. So that's how I first heard of it. And when I started researching it, it came from the Himalayan mountains. It's resin called Rock Invincible. But now, that's my downstairs neighbor. But now people are coming and mentioning it. I blame TikTok. I believe that's where they heard it from. So they're like looking for Shilajit, but they don't know what it is, which I'm like, why are you looking for something you don't know what it is? All right, T, that's how we roll in this day and age, says Shilajit, also known as mineral pitch, is a result of a long process of breaking down plant matter and minerals. The result is a sticky black tar-like substance derived from rocks in high mountain ranges. This compound has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries as a rejuvenating tonic and as an aphrodisiac. Now, if you are going to get Shilajit, you have to make sure you do your research because there's a lot of scammers out here. They will be selling fake stuff. They'll be selling something that looks like it, but it's not Shilajit. There is quite a roster of benefits associated with Shilajit. The first is its effect on Alzheimer's disease. The molecular composition of it is believed to slow or even possibly prevent the progression of this form of dementia. It's an antioxidant, and it has fulvic acid, which makes sense why it's so dark. If you've ever seen black water, I think black water either has fulvic or humic minerals. It tastes like water. It's just dark because of the minerals. So, makes sense. It's a great contributor to cognitive health. Tau proteins are important parts of our nervous system, but they can prompt brain cell damage when they build up. Shilajit helps prevent the accumulation of tau protein. It's TAU. Is it tau or is it DAO? Because it looks like it could be pronounced as DAO, but I guess it's tau. TAU. Shilajit also increases testosterone levels in men. Low testosterone is a common male ailment and contributes to a low sex drive, hair loss, loss of muscle mass, fatigue, and increased body fat. It also helps with chronic fatigue syndrome, is anti-inflammatory, slows down the premature aging process, helps with iron deficiency, reverses male infertility, and improves heart health. The only thing about Shilajit that irritates me that these companies are doing now is they're just marketing it to men. Like, they're just marketing it to men. Like, men and women can take Shilajit. They can. Women have taken it to balance their hormones and to feel strong and energetic and all of that. But I've only met 2 women in my life that have taken it, and they take it consistently and they say they feel amazing. But if you look at a bottle like, let's say, Youth Theory brand has a Shilajit, and it comes in capsules, but on the front it's like for men. Not everything is for men, okay? Not everything is for men. Some things are, but Shilajit is unisex. It does help with women. There was another product I had seen recently, and on the front, it was like called Men's Tonic, and it had a bunch of herbs on the back. On the front, it had like a man holding the world, like, I am a man, I'm carrying the world. And when I read the back of the bottle, it had a lot of really great herbs, and I'm just like, oh, this women could take it. On the front, it said men. All over the front, it said men, but in the description, it's like, this is for men and for women. This product is beneficial for men and for women. So if you are a woman and you want to take Shilajit, but you haven't because people have told you it's only for a man, you can take it. You can take it. I know women that take it. Make sure, safety. Make sure you are buying Shilajit from a reputable manufacturer. The product should be processed prior to being consumed. Raw, unprocessed Shilajit may contain contaminants that could make you sick. It is also important to avoid this adaptogen if you have sickle cell anemia or too much iron in your blood. She recommends you take 300 to 500 milligrams of extract 1 to 3 times a day, or 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried tar 1 to 3 times a day. And there's some other herbs she mentions in here, bilberries. In the back half of the book, there's recipes. And I love the photography. Like this one is a glow try, and she mentions the main ingredient in there. They took this picture in the snow because you can see the reflection in the background. This one, like a matcha green tea or a matcha latte. Matcha is used for green tea ceremonies, and she explains about that. They have a beautiful design in there with the cream. This one looks really delicious. It's an immune boosting chocolate. Oh, man, I keep thinking there's a mouse, but I'm sorry. I'm so freaked out by that mouse in my window. This picture is beautiful. I love the contrast of the greens. It says Uber Detox Smoothie and it has chlorella. There was also, when I saw this, I didn't even read the bottom. I just looked at this and I said blue spirulina, and look, blue spirulina. I took blue spirulina for 2 or 3 months with some other herbs, and it helped to regulate my cycle. And I also think it did something to my pheromones because it was like when men were walking up to me, it was like they're like smelling me, but I don't wear perfume. I just wear like my oils. Like my butters. But I do know when I was consistently taking it, it did something with my scent, or maybe it made me scentless. Same thing with like chlorella, chlorophyll. It just helps with any type of odor from your body. So these are some teas and smoothies. There's a soup, if you like soup. There's a muscle building yam soup. I wonder why it's purple. I guess it's a purple yam. This looks delicious. I actually thought this was a maki smoothie bowl, or is that how you spell it? MAQUI or MACQI? It's one of those things. I thought it was this or some type of acai berry bowl, but it's purple yam. This picture kind of freaks me out a little bit. It's just the chia seeds. I can't look at this picture. But yeah, she has some good recipes in the back. This one is a ginseng, a lover chocolate Asian ginseng truffles. I will make this though, for real. I love chocolate. But yeah, I give this book 5 fudge buckets. You know why I give it 5 fudge buckets? Number one, it had beautiful pictures. I was entertained. I was just entertained looking at the pictures. They looked delicious. And I finally got to see what some of the plants looked like. The photography was really, really good, visually appealing. The layout was perfect. It got straight to the point. It was easy to navigate through. If I didn't want to flip through the description, I could just look at the little symbols over here, and she put additional information. I loved that she included safety, because some people don't even mention like precautions. They just tell you about the herb and move along. You're like, okay, here's the herb. Do at your own risk. Well, tell me what the risks are, please. Can you? She gives the botanical name. She gives the history. And then all of the recipes in the back include the herbs that we just read about in the book. And it's not too long. You could read it in a day. You could use it as a reference. If you had like a doctor's office or a health store or so, you could just sit it on the table. People can read it. If there's a table, if you have a sit-down place or on a bookshelf, I don't know. Or if you like work in a health store and you can put it in your book bag, or you work in a garden center, keep it with you, show people, take it to the store. It's perfect. I love it. I love it. She didn't say too much. She didn't say too little. It was just the right size. Excellent. I need more books like this. And this was pretty good for being from Five Below. For real though. And even if you don't like to read, just looking at the pictures is so pretty. Every picture is pretty. I want to eat everything. Well, almost everything. I do want to eat that chocolate though. So thank you everyone for watching this video. I have to go now. I have to go get my hair trimmed. And I will be back with another book review, hopefully next week. Bye bye and happy reading.